Now, this illustration deals with non-grounding receptacle replacements or branch circuit extensions. Again, we're in accordance with 250.30C1 through C6, but notice here we're using a GFCI for replacement, or it could even be for extension. But notice at the very top of the illustration, we're using a circuit breaker, no GFCI protection, but we're replacing that receptacle with a GFCI. And the GFCI receptacle shall be permitted to replace a non-grounding receptacle and label no equipment ground, so that the person using it knows it's a leakage current thing, but it doesn't have an equipment ground. That's what the receptacle GFCI would provide. Now, the next one to it is a branch circuit without an equipment ground and no GFCI protection, and we could replace it with a non-grounding type receptacle, 2-wire. And we would not have an equipment ground in that circuit naturally, but the receptacle doesn't require an equipment ground in this case. Or we could use the next set of receptacles and the branch circuit with an equipment ground, no ground fault protection. And if we didn't have an equipment ground, then notice we could have a test button and trip button type GFCI, and it would be permitted to replace a non-grounding type receptacle without an equipment ground. And then the downstream receptacles that could be of the non-grounding type with a label, no equipment ground identification to show one is not present. So that's basically what this figure 16-119 is showing, that we have a circuit breaker with no ground fault protection in the bottom illustration. We have a branch circuit without an equipment ground, and we're using a GFCI at the first outlet to protect the downstream receptacles, which would have a label, no equipment ground. And that's what this figure is illustrating.